The Golden State Warriors are your NBA champions, but what if I told you that in 2023, the Golden State Warriors can go back-to-back and win another NBA title? So, we're going to be going through 5 reasons why the Golden State Warriors will win back-to-back and win the 2023 NBA championship, and we're going to be going through that in today's video, so don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe by hitting that red button down below. But let's get into the first reason, and the first reason is that Steph Curry is still playing at his peak performance. A lot of people thought that when Steph Curry hit the age of 34, and especially coming into next year at 35, that he will eventually slow down and not be able to do the things that he was doing. But after this playoff run, it's definitely safe to say that Steph Curry is only getting better as time goes on. Yes, he may not be as fast or maybe as athletic as before, but his high IQ and his style of play really have helped him, remain such a great player. There's other players in the league such as LeBron James or Ja Morant who really depend on athleticism for them to be great players. Steph Curry, on the other hand, has one of the greatest skills, which is shooting, and that's what makes him so powerful on offense. We saw this especially with even younger players such as Vince Carter, Ray Allen, who started off as athletic people in the league, and as time goes on, they eventually became great three-point shooters, Ray Allen definitely being one of them, and Vince Carter, learning it in his later years because of the lack of athleticism they can offer. And I think that's the same with Steph Curry. A lot of people think that his career is slowing down, but since his game isn't built on athleticism, I really do think he can continue to play and continue to play at a high level. Now, he did really well in not only this playoff run, but also in the NBA season as well. Now, Steph Curry this season did really well. In the regular season, he actually played 64 games, so he did play a majority of it, only missing around roughly 20, and he actually averaged 25.5 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, and 6.3 assists, while also shooting 38% from three-point line and 43% from the field. So it was really good to see how well he did, not only in the playoffs, but in the regular season. In the playoffs, however, he played 22 games, averaging, 27.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and shooting 45% from the field and 39% from three. So he really did play consistently throughout this whole season in regular and also playoffs, and I think it really does show that the level that he's playing at is still at the very high level. Okay, if anything, his rebounding has been getting better as time goes on. I don't know why, but it's just the stat that actually has been increasing as time goes on. And we also see some great things when it comes also to his high IQ style of play. I know that, as time goes on, you really do learn the game more and more, and that's why you see younger players really start to hit their peak at their earlier years of maybe the 30s, sometimes maybe anywhere from 25 all the way to 34 is roughly where their peak is at. And the reason why is because it's a great balance between still having athleticism, but also being a very high IQ player and having the experience to know what it takes to win games, to win playoffs, and eventually win the NBA Finals. So, I think Steph Curry is the piece and is Golden State Warriors, and what he has provided to this team is honestly fantastic, and that's one reason why I think they can do it all again next year. Now, reason number 2 is that defense wins championships, and what I mean by this is that the Golden State Warriors have added some great pieces, not only, veteran experience, but also young players that are very heavy defensive players, and I think this really does show in why they won the NBA Finals. Yes, they had Steph Curry to provide the offense, but without the defense that they have been doing as of lately in the finals and in the playoffs, it really does show that defense wins championships. So obviously we do have Draymond Green, who is a great defender. He can definitely guard, pretty much 2 through 5, I could say. He might have trouble guarding very fast guards, but he did a really good job guarding Jaylen Brown and also a little bit of Jason Tatum if they ever got that switch. So I think, what he did on the floor was honestly amazing. Another person is Andrew Wiggins, who is a 3-and-D player. Now, I wouldn't really call him a 3-and-D. I wouldn't say he's a pure three-point shooter, but he is a scoring/D player. So he definitely does great on both ends of the floor. Think of him as a poor man's Kawhi Leonard. That's basically what Andrew Wiggins is. But I do think he did play very, very well, and he is going to continue to do great things in this league. He is still very young. And to give you a quick stat, Jason Tatum shot 37.5% when guarded by Andrew Wiggins, and Jaylen Brown only shot 29% when guarded by Draymond Green and was 1 from 15 from 3. So Having Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green just in the starting five alone and having them really provide a lot on defense is honestly fantastic. Now, you can't obviously forget Kevon Looney, who provides so much rebounding for this team. It is honestly ridiculous. And you also have players like Klay Thompson, who isn't obviously at his full potential, but he is providing a lot when it comes to, what he has provided for this team. So bringing back to Kevon Looney actually had 7 rebounds, averaging in this playoffs, and he actually averaged around 7 rebounds as well in the regular season. So he's done really, really good when it comes to, providing what is needed from the Golden State Warriors, which is rebounding. Klay Thompson, as we all know, is a 3-and-D player. And, just to give some shout outs as well to Gary Payton, who is honestly a great defender, and also Otto Porter. Okay, a lot of people don't know this, but Otto Porter really had a big role. He is only 6'8", but he was asked to guard, power forward, centers at times, be that switch off to guard the 1 and the 2 position. So he was really providing a lot and being basically the second Draymond Green off the bench. So, Otto Porter Jr., Gary Payton II, coming off the bench, great defense. And like I said, defense wins championships, and that's why they're going to run back again. Reason number 3 is that Klay Thompson is coming back with full force. Yes, we didn't see Klay Thompson do so well in these playoffs, but I do have to mention Klay Thompson throughout this season alone has really shown glimpses of his past self and is continuing to get better as time goes on. Now, he did have a great season, and a lot of people really didn't know this, but he actually averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and also 3 assists per game in the regular season, and in the playoffs actually averaged 20 points as well, 4 rebounds, and roughly around 2.5 assists. So he also did well. Field goal percentage was pretty much identical from regular season to playoffs. He had a field goal percentage of 42% and a 3-point percentage of 38%. So he did really well on both ends of the floor. As we all know, he is a great defender. Now, he may not be as athletic as before due to his ACL, but he will continue to do great things, and I do think he's only going to get better from here. What I do think really is a very important thing about all of this is that Klay Thompson doesn't really need to get back to averaging 30, 25 points a game due to the fact that they now have Andrew Wiggins, and I think that's a really big help. Andrew Wiggins, offloading that scoring from Klay Thompson really does even open up Klay Thompson more. So even if Klay Thompson averages 20 points next season, that is still a great position for, Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson averaging 20, being a spot-up shooter, letting Andrew Wiggins drive to the hole, having him to do that, because I remember before that used to be kind of Klay Thompson's job. Klay Thompson, out of him and Steph Curry, was the one that had to do all the driving, kick out, find the open spot. Klay Thompson shooting those mid-ranges. I remember when he went off for 30 plus points in the quarter, he was shooting everything from threes, mid-ranges, all that good stuff. But now, as he's getting older as well, Andrew Wiggins can take that load off and he can just do what he does best and shoot threes. So I think that's very important, and it's really good to see that from Klay. Reason number 4 is that James Wiseman is going to be back in full effect as well. Now, a lot of people forgot that James Wiseman is in this team, and he is obviously a great player. Now, he is still very young. There is still a lot for him to learn, but I do think he is on the right track to be a great player. Yes, he may not be averaging 40 points per game or anything like that, but I do have to imagine that his presence on offense and his inside game will really provide a lot for this team and also moving forward. So I think that's honestly great to see. Now, when it comes to also all of this as well, when it comes to rookies, there's also a draft coming up as well, and the Golden State Warriors have been really well on actually drafting really good players. So I think they are going to be drafting some really good rookies this year. This draft class is looking pretty good, and I do think that there is a lot of potential to be made. Now, they actually have the number 28th pick in the first round. They also have the number 51st pick in the second round and 55th pick second round. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh, that's, very low round picks. However, guys, I'm telling you, a lot of great scouts can find a diamond in the rough, and that's definitely what the Golden State Warriors are looking for, and I do think that the staff behind it can also figure that out. And reason number 5, and probably the most important reason, is their championship DNA. I think there's a really big thing, and I always thought that Golden State Warriors would win the NBA championship, or at least make it to the NBA finals at the start of the playoffs. Yes, they weren't number 1 ranked. Yes, they didn't have the greatest regular season or anything anything like that. They did have a normal and pretty regular season, not really showing any signs of them dominating or anything like that. But the reason why I knew they were going to come out on top is due to their championship DNA and their experience in the playoffs. The playoffs, I'm telling you right now, guys, is a very different ball game, especially when you see young teams come first. You know, we saw Memphis Grizzlies come really hot, or we saw Chicago Bulls. We also saw some other big teams, even Philadelphia 76ers. And the reason why they all crumble when time comes is because, one, they don't have the experience, and two, they don't really have that championship IQ. IQ is very important in this game, and I really do think that the Golden State Warriors did use a lot of high IQ, a lot of great plays in order for them to get this done. It wasn't just superstar Steph Curry. They did have championship experience, and they did show that in this series and also in this season. So let me know down in the comments what you think, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, our Golden State Warriors going back to back. Let me know. Peace.